I want to call the chapter meeting to order. We have a guest speaker tonight, and I certainly don't want him to have to stay any later. He stayed late for us just to do this, and so what I'd like to do, we've changed the order just a little bit. We're going to post the colors, say the prayer, and then Bob is going to speak to you about the VITA program, which is a very important program for you to know about to help you with your filing your taxes, and you're going to need that this year. I filed mine, and there's a bunch of changes, let me tell you. So I'm sure Bob will tell you about that. So we're going to change the order just a little bit so he can go home and have supper or whatever. So if we would, Sergeant Arms, post the colors. You'd stand, please. Remain standing for the prayer. Chapter 3, that arm. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order arms.
Order arms?
Sorry. Chaplain, would you lead us in prayer, please?
I wanted to read a quick verse out of the Bible. Under the apple tree I roused you. There your mother conceived you. There she was in labor, gave you birth. Place me like a seal over your heart, like a seal on your arm. For love is as strong as death, its jealousy unyielding as the grave. It burns like blazing fire, like a mighty flame. Many waters cannot quench love, rivers cannot wash it away. If one were to give all the wealth of his house for love, it would be utterly scorned. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing all of our sisters and our brother here. We thank you for the journey that you've brought us on, whatever those circumstances may have been. Right now, at this time and place, we're all here together. You're binding us in our strength and in our weaknesses, and this is the week of love. This is the month of love, and it's the year and a lifetime of love. I gave these roses to all of these sisters, to all of my sisters, so that they know that they are truly loved and cherished in your heart. Please carry them through all of their times and journeys so that they know that your love is everlasting and ever enduring. Amen.
Thank you. Please have a seat. For those of you who don't know Bob, he's the wonderful guy who lets us meet here for free, and so we owe him a lot for that.
A lot.
But he's a lot of other things besides that, and he runs the VITA program each year, so I asked him to come today and talk to you a little bit about that program.
Thank you. Actually, I don't run the VITA program. I'm very familiar with it. What I do run is the low-income taxpayer clinic, which is where you are tonight. And the VITA program is the United Way's program. And what it does, and we certainly participate with the VITA program and help them. What the VITA program does is tax returns for free for certain levels of income. And I call them kids, but the kids that do the tax returns are good, and they know their limitations. And when they reach a point where they don't know what they're doing, then they come and ask us. And we have the low-income taxpayer clinic is a 501c3, and I started it, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm using graduate accounting students as the student practitioners to work here. And I supervise them. I'm a tax attorney. And what sort of got me into the whole veterans programs, where we started seeing a lot of youngsters veterans that were non-filers because VITA didn't know how to handle them. And when I started asking them why they hadn't filed, I quickly realized that they were disabled. They had post-traumatic stress and various degrees of disability. So we started doing tax returns in the low-income taxpayer clinic for non-filers. And then one thing kind of led to another, and realized that the whole veterans programs were disjointed, and that's what started this over here. And that's why we have so many nonprofits that share space. And now Nikki and her program, the county is in here with social workers. And there is a gentleman from the state of Texas that does benefits. And he is here on a full-time basis. So it has grown exponentially since we started doing this. And it's not finalized, but we're in pretty good shape. The building next door, I think we are doing a memorandum of understanding with the VA in Dallas, and they will provide 3 MD psychiatrists on a full-time basis there, and 2 psychologists, and do group counseling. And I will say it wrong, but do the telemed programs there.
Yeah.
And they are taking the entire building. They will have a VA security officer there assigned there full time. And so it's a pretty neat program. And what we're doing is going to the community, and I've talked to a few people, and they're funding the rent for the entire building. So I think this whole location, this whole campus is growing for veterans. Back to VITA. That so many people don't know about it, and that the difficulties that I see now for people doing their own tax returns is our whole system of taxation is dysfunctional, and as a tax attorney, I can't get a hold of the IRS. I can't pick up the phone and call for help. I can't find people.
They can find you.
Well, they're having a hard time. They after the government shutdown, they were having to deal with 5 million pieces of mail. And you know, when they were shut down, I told the people here, just keep sending the IRS certified letters. I don't care where they end up, because we have proof that we've sent. So the Tax Reform Act of 17, which was passed in December of 17, is the worst piece of legislation I've read in my 30-some years as a tax attorney. And it didn't replace anything. It didn't do anything to improve the system. It suspended various code sections. How in the hell do you suspend a section of a law? I still can't figure that one out. And so we're dealing with new forms, and CPAs are dealing with new forms, and H&R Block is dealing with new forms, and bad preparers are dealing with new forms. And one of my missions in life is to get rid of the bad preparers, because they are stealing from taxpayers. And so I would urge you to come in, and I can get the eligibility limits, the income limits for.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you. Tell them what the limits are and what you're willing to go up to.
Well,
I know VITA is like 58 or something like that, isn't it?
Income.
Yeah.
And
ceiling. What's the ceiling?
Right, the income ceiling. And with the low-income taxpayer clinic, there are 138 in the country, and they have a matching grant program from the IRS, and it's up to $100,000 a year. And I applied for it and got it, but then when I realized some of the strings, I didn't accept it. And the big issue is they would not count my volunteer time as an in-kind contribution. And if there were other tax attorneys or CPAs working here in the clinic, his or her time would count at $200 an hour, but my time, based on government standards, and but my time they wouldn't count because they said I was staff. So I said, you know, if I have to raise money to cover my time here, I'll raise it all, and I don't want your money. And made a whole lot of people in Washington mad, but I don't care. It's not about them. It's our program. It's our local program. So I have some flexibility, and if there are unusual circumstances, then I don't mind getting the tax return done through the tax grant. If people are, for whatever reason, above the income limits and they're extenuating circumstance, I won't do it for everybody because I don't have the horsepower, nor do I want the liability for preparing tax returns. I can prepare a tax return, but I don't want the supervisory liability for supervising graduate accounting students as they work their way through tax return. But I will caution each of you, this will be a very difficult filing season. And for those of you that are going to do your own tax returns, I would discourage you from doing that.
If you make under $35,000, you don't have to do a tax at all, do you? File it all?
No, you're going to have to file, but you're not going to owe anything. Your filing requirements, and of course that will be right on the instructions for a 1040. But I just think that taxpayers are going to get really surprised with the complexities that are thrown in here. We've lost personal exemptions, and now there's just a standard deduction. And for single individuals, it's $12,000. For a married family, it's $24,000. And there are certain young couples with little kids that are going to get hammered with this new legislation. And so it's regrettable. It's a mess. It goes to my firm belief that in the courses I teach, I am apolitical. But it goes to my firm belief that both sides of Congress are screwing up by not adequately funding the IRS. And it's an unfunded agency, and it's wrong. So I don't ever want to side with the government because they're the competition. They're the bad guys. But in this area, I think they're horribly underfunded. We just got our tax returns for 2018 in December. So we didn't even know what they looked like until December, and we got these draft forms out. So be careful on the filing for this year. It is going to be ugly. And if you need any help, what we do with VITA is when a taxpayer comes into VITA with a questionable return or questions, we take that return, we paper file it, and we attach to it what's called a Form 2848, a power of attorney that lets us represent the taxpayer before the IRS. So what that does is all correspondence comes to me, not to the taxpayer. And so we're happy to run interference if there's some issues on a tax return, and if there's some complexities that VITA can't necessarily do. So what questions could you have? By the way, VITA does do tax returns here. And I think they do a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from noon until 3:30 or from 11:30 to 3:30. And the huge advantage for having your stuff done here is that if they have any questions, they can go right back there and find somebody to help them. I don't think they have the same, I know they don't have the same at other VITA sites. The people working at the VITA sites know if they have issues, they can contact us. But it's real easy for them to stand up and walk in there versus picking up the phone and trying to get a hold of me or somebody else that works here. Yes, ma'am.
So are some people bringing in like the St. Clair claims? Are you familiar with the St. Clair?
Maybe by a different name. What does that mean?
No, it's that's what was put out in the news. So for a lot of veterans who got out under disability, we received letters. I was one of those, and I was able to prepare the return myself. But we can file an amended return back to the military to get reimbursed the income taxes that they withheld.
We'd be happy to help you with that. And all that is doing is it's extending the statute of limitations, the normal statute of limitations, which is 3 years back, to a longer period possibly.
Yeah, it went back. I got out in 2000, and those people that were affected got the letters in the mail.
Right,
but
which
I just wanted to, for our newsletter purposes or minutes, can people bring in?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we'd be happy to do that, and more importantly, attach that 2848 to it. So when some moron at the IRS gets it and they don't know what to do with it, or they try and reject it, then we're there and we can respond very quickly and say, oh no, it's this, or do a cover letter saying pursuant to this act, then here is our return. We know it's stale, but it's authorized by this statute.
Yeah.
And
I filed mine in October, and I talked with them last week, and they're waiting for a one-off cutting on the check because my ex-husband is deceased, and so they have to do a manual run on it. But if you're processing any of those, yeah, they're a little behind.
Oh, they're horribly behind. They're horribly behind. And I don't know when normal refunds will come out. Everybody said that refunds won't be impacted by this, but that's crazy. They have to be impacted.
Could it be August? I'm just guessing.
There's no telling when it will be.
Well, we're looking at being furloughed again. So I work for HUD. We're looking at.
Excuse me. Do you have any flyers about that VITA program? See, I have a little bit of a different situation.
I bet Nikki has some. Do you have some over there?
I might have a couple. I live in a house with my son and his family.
I'm sorry?
My name is Faith Epperville.
Yeah.
And my daughter-in-law files the income tax first. She files hers separately than mine. If there's a flyer that would help her point maybe extra discounts or whatever for me, I make up just under $4,000 a month. So it's like, I don't know. She does it all.
Well, the personal exemptions are gone. So that's been done away with. And they increased the standard deduction. And so that's why I'm saying it is something that everybody's return needs to be looked at by somebody who knows what he or she is doing this year. Because so many different things, there's so many different things.
She used to do it back by herself when we lived in the Chicago area, but since we moved down here, she goes to the tax company to do it.
Right, but if her income is such, she can come here and get it done free. I've been the only board-certified tax...
They are military.
Okay, let me just finish this.
Sorry.
I've been the only board-certified tax attorney in Denton County since 1989. I have not done my tax return, since 1985.
Okay.
I'm not going to either.
I have not prepared my own tax return. So that's how I feel about doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing. Sort of he who represents himself as a fool for a client. So I'm cautioning everybody, I think, to the extent you can come into VITA and have somebody else look at the return, you need to do that and take advantage of that.
I agree.
Because it's the complexity is shocking.
So do people just walk in and meet these people?
You fill out. They have an intake sheet, and you fill it out, and they do a pretty good job with privacy and confidentiality, and they are. The VITA program is sponsored by the IRS. They are bound by the same ethical standards as tax practitioners are, the Circular 230 standards, and they e-file. So they look at everything and they put it together and they actually e-file, which is the best and fastest way to get a refund. And so I would really encourage it.
Oh, man, with you. Thank you.
So what other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So, Bob, are you getting a lot of surprise people coming in, saying that they know a lot more than
I'm hearing about a lot of people that are really pissed.
Yeah.
And but that's a legal term.
I agree.
You have that one in the military and all that.
Well, I do too, but I've sort of taken it from the military and moved it to the civilian sector, but it's legal. That so many things they've done in the past are no longer permitted. Our daughter just moved from the University of Florida to Texas A&M, and she was really chapped that she can't do any moving deductions.
Oh.
We may.
Oh.
We may be able to work around something.
I had this whole group of stuff put together for my tax CPA, okay? And she kept putting over here, putting over here, putting over here. She said, none of that counts this year. That is literally what she said.
Yeah, because the itemized deduction threshold is so high. Charitables don't really count, and you have to be really sick for medicals to count. So we live in a state where there's no state income tax, but if you live in a state where there is, that pretty much is non-deductible.
Non-deductible.
So there's been a lot of changes from as long as I can remember kicked in. So it's a different ballgame, and the added complexity is most of these changes, because all they did was suspend old code sections, is most of these changes become the law again in 1/1/2026. So that's what's made our life so miserable as a practitioner, is how do you give tax advice to somebody where the law in 5 years is going back to the old stuff? I mean, how do you plan? How do you plan estates and how do you plan a business and things like that? So it's
I do have a question around that. I was just thinking this, and I have no idea. But you think maybe it's come to the place where all of us should pay quarterly something, because we're not going to have any deductions, basically.
Well, I think you see where you are this year, and you see if you owe tax this year, and if it's easier for budgeting and planning, then I'm okay paying quarterly. You certainly don't have to.
Well, nobody's going to have enough taken out, is my point. Even if you claim zero, it's not if you have no deductions.
Well, that's a discussion you will have with the tax preparer. And if you end up owing, then yeah, pay in quarterly. And the quarterly payment periods are April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th. And they should give you the estimated tax coupon.
Okay.
And that's something that you can and probably should pay attention to, but it's going to change the playing field.
I heard the form I haven't seen it yet. I heard it just had 2 areas. The first one said, how much did you make? And you write it down. And the second line directs you to send it in.
Right. Actually, you're not far off. The 1040 is much smaller, but the attachments to it are voluminous, and so they've taken 2 pages of the 1040, they've cut it down, but now instead of writing it on the 1040, you attach a schedule, and it's just crazy. You just wonder who created this stuff.
Somebody retired and was like, watch this.
Yeah. So any other questions? I'm happy to. But VITA is a great opportunity all throughout the county. They have a site in Louisville. They have one in Pilot Point. They have, I think, something in Little Elm. They have a couple in Denton, the Town North Library.
Yeah, a lot of them do it in the libraries, and I know Carrollton does, and some of the other cities around.
Are you hearing much about small business, home offices and things? I'm hearing about a lot of changes that's done for those Schedule C
Well, Schedule C is the same. I mean, it's a business, and I discourage anybody from doing home office stuff because it's an instant flag for an audit, and it affects when you actually sell the property. It has some adverse consequences when you sell a house. So I'm not a fan of that, but I mean, it's just it's gotten to be very difficult.
Is that even for teleworking? Because I work for the federal government, so we work from home 3 days a week, and so I've been always, since we started teleworking.
But are you depreciating a part of
300 square feet is the max, I think.
Well, then what you've done is you've taken 300 square feet out of your house, and you've converted that into trade or business property, and it's no longer your principal residence. So when you sell your principal residence, the gain on your house and land minus 300 square feet, there's no tax on that. And then trade or business property, you're going to pay tax on that. So I'm never a fan of home office depreciation of the house itself. You can deduct
I think I have it in my
utilities
business expenses and.
Yeah, but you just have to be careful because you have converted a principal residence now into trade or business property, and you won't get a gain exclusion on that, and that tends to surprise people. So I don't know your specifics, and I don't know what they're telling you to
Come
do.
in and see Bob.
But just be careful on depreciating your house.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Bob. We really appreciate it. Oh, did you have a question?
I have just a quick question. For those that are definitely over the lower moderate income level, do they still follow the same go to VITA, even though they know they're going to be way over the income level?
No, but as a veteran, if you have some issues, then I don't mind seeing you. And,
then I'll probably come to you.
And help there. I'm in this sort of a tangent, but as a veteran, am embarrassed the condition of the veterans programs in Denton County when I started this and started figuring out what was going on and saw how disjointed things are, and so I am not only involved in the low-income taxpayer clinic, but I'm happy to help veterans if there's some issues that they have. And it has to be on my time. I'm not trying to be ugly about it, but I'm happy to answer questions and help with things, get you where you need to be, because I know it's difficult and I know it's complicated, and I'm sort of now passionate about military wills and how bad they are, and it's just disgraceful. And work with the family of the young Air Force officer that was killed in Iraq, and saw his will. And I'm not done with that because it was just so poorly drafted. And so if you still have military wills, then they're no bueno. And so whatever I personally can do to work with a veteran, I'm always happy to do that. So, sort of the least I can do.
We appreciate it. We appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You may use this whenever you want. So I'm going to lock this part up, but
okay.
You guys are good, and I'm really pretty excited about the center next door. I mean, I think that's going to be huge. So
it is.
To have that many people from the VA, and I guess the VA got jacked up because they tried to do this 2 years ago and they dropped the ball. And a lot of the veterans are with the post-traumatic stress or driving to Dallas or doing this telemed stuff, and that just can't work.
In Bonham, some are going to Bonham.
It would be a pretty neat deal. So, okay, thanks.
Thank you.
it at all.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we're going to continue with our order now. I just wanted to be able to let Bob, because he stayed over to do this for us, and I wanted to let him get home. So the next thing on our agenda is our adjutant is going to read the minutes from last month.
Meeting was January 14th. We called the meeting to order at 1900 hours. Camilla called it to order. Gina led us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Diane Schutz gave the invocation. Excuse me. We read the minutes from the executive meeting that we had on December 29th. The financial report by Bell was we had a balance of $12,455.01. And she said that the color guard expenses and donations more or less equaled out. So there was no outgo. The vice commander announced we had 91 members and that members can pay their dues on the website. The chaplain report was given by Camilla. Gina was going to send Norma a care package. And food boxes for those furloughed were donated by a Jewish women's group. Gina gave her report on the Honor Guard presentations, and they will do the pickleball tourney, which I spelled wrong on my notes. Luckily, you don't see it. In Grapevine on March the 2nd, and in Austin for the I'm Not Invisible ceremony on March 27th at the Bob Bullock Center, and then the Medal of Honor parade on April the 14th. Lynn spoke to us about the newsletter and how well it was coming along, except for the computer that didn't want to do anything, apparently, or didn't want to do what it was supposed to do. Belinda handed out an updated directories on thumb drives for all of us that she provided, and it included a personal affairs document on there for everyone to use. And we appreciate her.
Nope, not yet, but it's still in my purse. I haven't lost it yet.
That's on their bucket list, though.
I didn't. We were supposed to put that in and do something. I'm sorry. It's just sitting on top of the computer, which is not computer.
Hey, but she didn't lose it either.
No, you still have it, yeah. Well, you have to give me real paper.
Sheena showed us the revamped WVA pamphlet for our chapter, which she was getting FedEx to print for us at no cost. And Camilla brought them in today. Let's see, the next fundraiser will be on 3/8 and 3/9 at Backyard on Bell for International Women's Music Days, and we will have volunteers be there, and I believe there's a volunteer sign-up sheet that's going around, or will be going around. Let's see. We discussed the Mullins transition home, and Camilla, Belinda, and Diane Fraser will be like the main committee. There's a donation list available. Once again, we got so much stuff. They enlarged the storage facility. May 1st was the hoped-for opening, and I think it's now June, right?
Yes. Don't say.
Oh, okay. It's May 1st.
Just read your minutes.
Just read my minute. Camilla explained the MOU that was signed and the contributions are explained. Texas Women Veterans Day celebration was discussed. Bell will chair the planning committee. All are welcome. No chapter funds are to be expended for the celebration, and it must be in Denton. Camilla will be the advisor. Ginger gave an update on programs available from the MVPN and the Kyle Center. The next meeting will be February 11th at 7 p.m., and we adjourned the meeting, and we had 12 members present.
Are there any additions to the minute?
Just a question, can you confirm when the Medal of Honor parade is again?
I believe it's April of...
You have it in front of you on that sheet that's in front of
It's
you.
the 13th, yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, I see.
I apologize.
Now, are we going? Did you say we were asked to be in that parade?
I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about the minutes.
Okay.
So, do we have other additions or corrections to the minute? Thank you, Mary. Do I have a
I have a motion to publish the minutes.
Okay.
As corrected.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. And thank you for catching that. I didn't catch that. Okay.
Well, and I had it right, and somehow I read it wrong. So.
Okay, Finance Officer, will you give us a finance report, please?
So we just had a few operational expenses this month. We had one member's dues come in through PayPal. So we started at the $12,455.01 last month, and now we are at $11,963.08. And I have, from now on, I did a detailed business expenses in our QuickBooks, so this will be the finance report that I physically give to the secretary to put in with the minutes. Very nice. So more transparency. You can see exactly what we spent it on, everything for the month.
And again, that's available to anybody who wants to see it at any time. Okay, membership report, Vice Commander.
I have 100 ladies listed on our roster.
We have some still updating their dues, but
I have 100 ladies listed on the roster.
and we have several new members. They're not here tonight, but we've added several new members this month. Okay, chaplain report, social services, please.
So in December, I sent out a bunch of Christmas cards. So hopefully I hit a bunch of you. If I didn't, I'm sorry. But I tried to send out as many cards as I had. So I tried to do that. We had one lady that we assisted with financial assistance. And we had 4 cards to send out for illness, surgeries, those things. I did one email buddy support for a claim, and we had 2 ladies plus myself that got some of the food from the furlough donation. So that was good news.
Can you tell us what kind of support you gave to one person? I mean, you have to be specific, but just was it housing? Was it food?
Oh, it was financial. It was financial support.
For.
She needed some assistance. We do that through the board, where they
Can you tell us the kind of what it was for? Food, clothing, housing.
Yeah, what was hers? I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry. There was that lady.
There was one for food, wasn't it? We did one for food, but I don't know how long ago it was.
No, I think it was insurance.
That rings about insurance,
Yeah.
auto insurance.
Yes.
We'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot going on.
Can I see that? Did we send out the care package to Norma? So we also got a care package to Norma Cabanas.
Yes.
Okay. Is that everything, Chapter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Color guard.
Okay, so we have, you all heard about those 3 events. We still have those coming up. March 2nd at 0700, we're going to be at the opening ceremonies for the Grapevine Indoor Pickleball Tournament. That's at the Fieldhouse USA at Grapevine Mills Mall. And that is located at 3000 Grapevine Mills Parkway. And if you'd like to come, you're welcome. But we're going to do it real quick so Pat and Mary can get on the court. I am looking for another color guard member to go with us on that, and an alternate. But so far it's going to be me, Pat, and Mary. Right? Okay, and then on March 27th at 0900, we have a color guard event. We'll be presenting at the I Am Not Invisible reception, located at Bullock Museum IMAX Theater in Austin, Texas. And so far, I think we're going to have the people that are going to be in that event, which is me, Christy, Maribel, and Diane. And I'm going to see about an alternate. And Joyce will go. And
to cheer you on.
Cheer us on, yeah. Yeah, we're welcome to go down. It starts at 09. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we do our part, then that'll be done. But I think it's pretty specific on those that can go.
It is. I will send out more information about that by email when I get it from Anna. I'm still holding from Anna. We do know that the color guard is going, and I don't know if there's going to be more people allowed and how many more people. I don't have that information yet. They're still working on that campaign, and I will get out more information as I receive it.
Okay. And that's in Austin.
Yeah.
And then the next one we have is Saturday, March 30th, and that's our fundraiser. Do you want me to talk about that now? Okay. So that's the Color Guard fundraiser, and it's going to be at the Eagle Gun Range in Louisville. And this is for Color Guard members, we're calling it all hands. We'd love to have as much chapter support as we can as well. We're going to send out around a sign-up sheet a little bit later. Now.
Yeah, you can send that one.
Okay.
What exactly, when you say fundraiser, what is it?
Yeah, so it,
What is it?
So what we're going to do, here we go, sign-up sheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a raffle, 2 raffle items, and we're going to actually have a table basically outside. So when people come in, Saturday's a really, really busy day. Like everybody, you know, said there's just standing room only on that day. So so we're going to have 2 raffles. We're going to raffle off, and this was donated by the Eagle Gun Range, a 1-hour private lesson that's a $75 value, and or an LTC class certificate, lessons to carry, a $50 value, and those are both donated by the Eagle Gun Range. So it's going to be, we're going to sell raffle tickets for $10 or 3 for $25. And so people that buy these raffle tickets will have 2 chances to win. They can win one or the other. And so we'll have collection buckets out there, and the raffle tickets, Camilla's already ordered those. We're going to get 400 of those, so they should arrive by Valentine's Day. And yeah, so it's going to be a ton of fun, and you know, it'll be a neat way to let people see us and know about us also. So
what the time is it you said?
It's all day really on that Saturday.
Really, we got him to agree to let us set up the table from 9 to 5 on that Saturday, so that there's somebody at the table with our color guard at all times, you know, as people come in. That's one of their busiest days, of course. And we've established a really good relationship with the Eagle Gun Range now, and so we're getting a lot of support. But the one thing I want to tell you, I'm sorry I didn't get them in ahead of time. I mean, I had them ready, but I didn't have the prizes. I didn't know what the prizes were until just yesterday. So I did get the raffle tickets ordered, and as soon as we get them in, we'll let you know. But, you know, if you know somebody who's interested in LTC class, then let them know that they could get one for as little as $10. Yeah. And it's a certificate class. So, anybody can sell those raffle tickets, you know. We'll have them there. They can come there, or we can give them to you, and you can sell them, you know, however you want to do it. But if you know somebody who's interested, then talk to them about the tickets, because those are some good prizes.
You don't have to be present to win?
No.
I'm assuming?
No, I put that on the raffle tickets. You do not have to be present to win.
Before you get to Mill Street.
On the left-hand side. Gina, you did say it's the 30th of March, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
I'm putting it on the Vice Commander's calendar, so it'll be on the website.
Oh, good. That
It's on the website. I've already put it on the
But I
website.
have it on the calendar.
And then the last one is the Medal of Honor Parade. Our color guard is going to lead that Medal of Honor Parade. Whew, that's big.
Now, I think that may be a misnomer. I'm not sure you're going to lead the parade. You're going to lead the float that I'm going to tell you about in a minute.
Okay. So, and that's on Saturday the 13th of April, and that's in Gainesville. And WVA 48 will be honored at a luncheon afterwards.
Yeah, but it's I'll go ahead and talk about that now. But here's the situation with that. Initially, they were going to build a larger float, but they've had so many entries into the parade, they cut down the amount that people could space that they could have, literally. So this year it's about Vietnam vets. So they have decided they only want Vietnam vets on the float. Okay. Now anybody can march in the parade with us with the color guard, behind the color guard. But they're only going to allow 4 Vietnam vets on the float itself. Okay, because of the size of the float. But anybody, what we're going to do, and she loved this idea, so I said, well, being as our color guard is going to be in front, then can the others who want to walk, with the parade be behind the color guard? And she said, absolutely. So then after the parade, now I don't know, she hasn't told me this exactly. She said she was going to honor the Vietnam vets, and I'm not sure what that means at a luncheon, and I don't know whether all people are being invited to the luncheon yet or not. I haven't got that word. I don't know if they're limited with that, because this is huge, ladies. This Medal of Honor thing is very, very huge, and there's lots and lots of people. And so I think that's why they had so many entries. It's gotten so popular that they started shrinking down what they were doing, because they've got a number of people. But I'll keep you advised, if nothing else, by email as I get further information. She just did call me back to let me know about the float, that they had changed the float. They were going to have a larger one, but they cut them down. So.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. You'll probably clarify this later, but when they say Vietnam vets, are they talking about people who actually spent time in country, or anyone who served during
No,
that
anybody during the Vietnam era.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Are you through? Okay. All right. So next thing is the newsletter, editor.
Yes. Hi. Okay. So it's still in work. Lots of fun stories going on. I've been working with the commander. She's seen a couple of drafts. She's refined her outstanding essay. Once again, since it all worked out great, since we're a little late coming out, we get to incorporate those new statements. So that should be out now that we're opening up. I'm working on a new technological fix that I started last night, taking a different track, and so I'm very, very hopeful now that this will come together quick, and you will see it go up as it always does as a PDF on the website once it comes out. The most important thing to know tonight is that we have another deadline coming up. The spring edition will be coming out in the first week of April, and the deadline then for new stories would be March 15. So that's only 5 weeks from now. So anything that happened after December 15, up till March 15, you want to report, send pictures, and who, what, when, where, why, how, send stories, emails, all that kind of stuff. So we can start gathering that in, and then we'll start producing the spring edition. But that's going to be upon us fast. That's only 5 weeks from now, the deadline for collecting your stories. And I know you've all been busy doing lots of stuff, so please start sending in reports of what's been going on, okay? Any other questions or anything else?
No, but we want to thank you for all the work you put into getting this out. We've had a lot of difficulties with getting this edition out, but she just kept working on it, and she did it piece by piece today, and so that if nothing else, we'll get it posted as soon as she gets it to Susie, and I think they talked tonight, right?
Yeah, it's got great content, lots for us to be proud about that we did in the fall. Really cool stuff.
Thank you. We appreciate it, Lynn. Okay, if you will look at the page that I had them put on your table in front of you, what I did was, because we have so many events coming up, I made a list for you so you would know exactly what was going on. And actually, we're booked out all the way through August, but I didn't want to confuse you, so I just really want to talk mostly about March tonight, because as you can see, we have numerous events. Gina talked about some of them, but I'll give you a little bit more detail. I'm going to start with the March fundraiser on the 8th and 9th at Backyard on Bell, and we have a volunteer sheet. But let me talk to you a little bit about what she starts that around. The tickets are free for those who are working the event. Okay, she's given me a certain number of tickets free. So if you're interested in going to this International Women's Music Show, which I understand is going to be awesome, then we need to man a table there both days. So I have created a volunteer sign-up sheet, put the days and times that you're interested in being there if you're interested, so I can get your ticket. So it's free for you. Okay, so will you start that around? And that basically, I think the way they're going to do that is it's going to start at 6 p.m. and I guess go until, I don't know how long Backyard on Bell stays open, but we'll probably go like from 6 to 10 or 6 to something like that. Yeah.
With a group of us.
By me on the table, what do you mean? What will we be doing at the table?
Just listen to the music, and if anybody has any questions about our chapter, we'll have our new brochures there and just be there to answer questions and give information and enjoy the music.
Bring a chair.
Well, we'll have chairs.
Oh. The goal is to try to get new members, right?
Yeah. The thing about this day, and I spoke to some other women Saturday about this, and I'm actually going to give a speech prior to this is International Women's Day, okay? And so there's going to be a lot of women come out to this music festival. And that's a lot of opportunity to talk to women who may not know about our chapter, who are veterans, and so it's going to be a kind of a recruitment for us as well as an event, but it'll also be a fun event for us to go to. And I understand lots of good music, so. And a fundraiser. All the funds from the event come to us for the transition home. Okay, the next thing, again, that you see on your list in front of you is the Rock the Troops, which is kind of an unstoppable, follow-up on the unstoppable. That is not something that we have to man or anything. That's something we wanted to tell you about in case you wanted to attend or go, and so that's the reason it's on the list. It's not a fundraiser for us, as far as I know. I haven't been told that anyway. But we do have some women who participating in that event: Charity Wright, Sheena Lawless, and Rachel Wilson.
That's my birthday that year.
So if you want to go, feel free. The information's there. And as Joyce alluded to earlier, the transition home opening date has been set. It has been moved to June 6th at 11 a.m. Now, there's several reasons for that and about that, but we have to have a certificate of occupancy before that we open the home. And so we have to work with the inspectors and all that sort of stuff in their schedule, and that's what kept pushing it out. And so now it is set, and we decided to have it at 11. I wanted to have it on the weekend, but we were afraid that some of the important dignitaries that we wanted to be there wouldn't come if we did it on a weekend. And this is going to be a big event, and there's a lot of people that we want to be present. So I talked her into doing it at 11 o'clock so that if nothing else, you could maybe take your lunch hour if you work and come out over lunch.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. And come out. But that's the best I could do. Again, the home, it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to Green Extreme, and so they have a lot of say-so in that, and that's what they chose. So that's when the grand opening will be. Our color guard, as you heard, will be performing, and we're going to have a lot of other activities and things going on for that day. It's going to be really a great day. Also, I wanted to draw your attention to the Paint the Walls. We have that sign-in sheet, and that's also on your list for the transition home. We have that coming up real soon. It's right after the pickleball tournament. I made that start at 10 o'clock, so y'all would have time to do the color guard at the pickleball and then come on over to the house 10 to 4. You don't have to be there all day. You don't have to paint all day. I mean, that's not what it's about. A lot of it, we're going to paint the walls, but, if you just come over and paint for a while, and come over and see the home now that all the walls are up. It looks different, trust me. And come out and enjoy a good day. There's going to be a lot of people out there and a lot of fun and a lot of activity. And so come anytime between 10 and 4. But I'd like to know if you're coming out. Please sign the sign-up sheet saying that you'll be out. You don't have to specify a time that you'll be there, but just that you'd be out, so we know how many people we got coming to paint.
What day is that on?
We've already
Saturday?
ordered the paint, but I don't know how much stuff he has. He says he has enough equipment. We'll see. We'll find out. We have quite a bit of other groups coming out too with that. Let me see.
But we're not painting in our red shirts, right?
No.
I just want to make sure.
No, you're not. No, bring something old, but you don't mind getting paint on. We talked about the Medal of Honor parade, and I will put out more information as we get closer. That's not till April. And I don't want to confuse you because we have so many things listed there in March. I just wanted to concentrate on March. But I wanted to tell you that it changed a little bit. And also, you see way down there, we got received a call from the Marines wanting to join us in a fundraiser, which I think will be a lot of fun on May 4th. It's called Pride and Glory. Yeah, Pride and Glory. And it's a family wrestling match situation. And it's going to be, I think, just a lot of fun. Basically, what we're going to do is sell treats, probably cook them ourselves and then bag them up. Maybe one person cooks some brownies and somebody else cooks some fudge and cut it up and put it in little baggies and sell things like that, and also help keep people off the mats in the area because they have this artificial grass and they want to make sure that it's preserved. But it'd just be a fun night for us just to come out and with our fellow Marines and enjoy this wrestling match.
Old Alton Bridge?
I'm sorry?
Is that the one that's on Old Alton?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so any questions on the, I'm sorry?
Can I ask about the parking? Because that's a really little edgy.
Well, I'll ask Mark about that. I haven't been out there yet. So I didn't know anything about that.
Right across from the Geyer High School, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. And there's a,
Well, I'm sure there'll be something arranged for that.
Sheena, did you have a question?
I have an event. Can I share with you?
Oh, sure.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Hi.
So on March 28th, the Texas State Fair rides are coming to Frisco. This is the first ever Frisco Fair, but they originally signed on for 10 days, but we got them to sign on for 11 because opening day is going to be open to just veterans and their families. So come have free food and bring the kids and ride some rides on March 28th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's just an extra fun event that I thought I'd share with you guys to let you know in case you wanted to come.
Where in Frisco will it be?
It's going to be next to Toyota Stadium, which is on Main Street near the Dallas North Tollway.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank Sheena for the great job she did with our pamphlets. I will let you know she held me hostage today. She wouldn't give me the pamphlets till I bought some of her kids' cookies. But you got the benefits of that. So, but I also want to say, Sheena, if you would send that to me, I saw it on Facebook, if you'd send me something on that so I can put on our event page. And I want to remind you that I have posted everything that you see in front of you on our event page, including this. If you go up at the top where it says events, okay, on the very first just event, you'll see a link that you can click on that'll give you this. The whole thing, okay? So if you lose yours or you have doubts about something or know when something's going on, that's there. Then if you go down to upcoming events, you'll see I've posted each and every event, okay? The date and time, location, that sort of stuff, with a little picture, poster, or something. And Sheena's going to send me something for the fair, and I'll also add that. Okay, I keep that web page updated. Go to the web page if you have any questions under upcoming events. Okay, Belle, would you and Gina talk about Texas Women Veterans Day?
Absolutely. We've done a couple of FaceTime calls with one another and started just kind of brainstorming a little bit to see what we could come up with. With the home grand opening being on the 6th and being so super close to the 8th, we're still kind of teetering between June 8th and June 15th. June 15th sounds like the more appropriate date, so we wouldn't take away from the activities of the grand opening of the home. So we are still working on that to set it in stone. Gina and Camilla did already go over to the TWU campus and had a sit down over there. You want to talk about that a little bit, Gina?
Well, we just went there to kind of introduce ourselves and share a little bit about what WVA is all about and invite them and if they can come. And then we just kind of briefly said, you know, we might be interested in partnering with y'all and linking arms for Texas Women Veterans Day, but there's nothing set in stone for that yet. So we're going to get back together with them and see if they'd like to link up with us.
Who did y'all talk to over there? Is it Nancy Boston? No. I know her. She's my instructor for the class I just had for fundraising. So she's the director of women getting elected across the country. She started a new program.
Okay, that'd be great. We'll get the
happy to connect you guys.
Sure, appreciate that. That'd be wonderful. So basically, what we're trying to do is we want to do like a VTC. Like we do the video conference for those who can't make it here. Instead of going down to Austin and participating in whatever they're doing down there, we'd like to join in via VTC. So whether that's from the TWU campus, whether we do something a little bit different, what have you, that's kind of the way that we're going. And in addition to that, once we finish that, we've got a little bit of extra stuff that we want to do there, but I don't want to share yet until I get the donors for it. And then afterwards, do a social together. Go somewhere, do something fun just to hang out with our sisters and celebrate the day. So be thinking what kind of social time y'all would like to do together. And the sooner that we figure it out and realize, you know, what we want to do as a group, then I can start working on who's going to pay for that. So the quicker the better. Be thinking about it. I mean, hey. Yeah, no.
You have Okay, any questions about any of the events that are going on or anything concerning that? Okay, I'm going to let Colonel Simonson tell us a little bit about what's going on at the Kyle Center. She's got a bunch of new programs. Boy, I'll tell you what, some of that art stuff they're doing is awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot going on. Tomorrow we actually have an MVP and basic training class going on. So if you'd like to learn more about the various issues that veterans face from the perspective of the Texas Veterans Commission, it's their curriculum that we use to train folks. It starts at 9 tomorrow morning at the Kyle Center. Also at the Kyle Center tomorrow, we've got coffee and crafts, led by Diane, and I believe Sharon as well. And, this is the kind of what free-base one, free-wheeling one.
Free to run crafts. EYOT.
And if you're at a loss, but you still want to come and do something, we have a bunch of crafts there that you can put together. You can make jewelry boxes. You can make moccasins. You can make all kinds of things. I haven't made any yet, but I've got pictures of things that other people have made.
You did make something. You made something for Christmas, remember?
Yeah, but that wasn't the craft that I'm talking about. These are actually craft kits.
Oh, okay.
So they go anywhere from building a tank, a Humvee, to, a clock. And, some people like them, and they look pretty good when they're all put together. And you can actually use the moccasins.
I was going to say you can actually drive the tank. I was waiting for you to say that one.
You can use them. He uses them. He asks them for his whole family. What can I say? All right. And tomorrow evening, we've got Patriot Anglers fly tying at 7. It's a pretty popular event. God knows why. I don't. But we had 14 people there on Saturday learning how to do these crazy things. I guess the sell point is that you do get to go on broken bow and things like that for free, all expenses.
No sheetrock, huh?
I don't know about that one yet.
All right, so those. There are a ton. On Fridays, Aaron Evans and Charity Brufeld are doing art heals for warriors. And
tell them more about that, what that is. I think that is so fascinating.
Okay, so basically, United Way in Abilene developed this art curriculum for folks, just to find a different way of communicating what's going on inside themselves. And this one is especially for people who have served in the military. So there are just 12 different types of expressive art things that you can do and just sit around in a very relaxed atmosphere, meet new people, because we have brought in folks that, I've never seen before. So, it's just a cool thing. And it's, you don't have to come every Friday. It's, whenever you want to go.
What time?
It starts at 6:30 and goes till 8:30. It's right after our moral injury group. That's Fridays from 3 to 5, but that group is closed now. However, if you are interested in moral injury, the last Friday of every month, we have a contemporary film series going, where we'll show a film and then have discussions about it afterwards. This month's film is Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise. So especially poignant, I would say, for Vietnam era veterans. All right, what else should I talk about? Deborah Rogers and the folks from the Art Station in Fort Worth, which is a main expressive art therapy place in our area, is doing Legacy in Wood on February 23rd at the Kyle Center. So, all the things I'm saying now, I don't expect you to remember. That's why I encourage you all to, just go on Eventbrite, NDPN, Denton County, Eventbrite, and every single thing we do is on there. All you got to do is press a picture, and it'll pop out and show you exactly, what's going on and when. We have, various groups that we still do, and I won't bore you with those. You've heard of them before. What else? Two other things that are a little bit different from what we normally do. Deborah Rogers is offering it's expressive art for adolescents. It's called Worry Dolls for Adolescents, and she explained how the whole thing is going to work. It sounds pretty cool because today's, teenagers are pretty stressed. So I did have some flyers made, and I do have those here. It was originally for tonight, and she realizes that she's got a following from Women Veterans of America, and she said, we should probably postpone that. So we selected February 25th, 6 to 8 p.m., Worry Dolls for Adolescents. That's here on the table. Last thing, unless you ask me a question, is that we're starting our second series for veteran spouses. It's called the Veteran Spouse Resiliency Group. I went through it myself. In fact, our last group meets on Saturday. It's a solid curriculum developed by the Steve Hicks School of Social Work at the University of Texas in Austin. And, it's 12 weeks, but once the group is formed, you can decide if you're going to go through all 12 sessions or pick sessions that you like.
Well, what is it?
It's a spouse resiliency group, so it gives spouses of veterans, and me, I'm a spouse of a veteran as well as a veteran, the opportunity to talk in a safe environment about the things that affect you because of your spouse's PTSD, depression, moral injury, whatever. And, I've been pretty amazed at how well this has taken off, especially with younger spouses who don't have any connection to the veteran community. It's pretty amazing, and they are just loving it. In fact, because of them and their sadness at stopping the regular group, Elizabeth Killer and Christy Tiswell, who are the facilitators for this group, they are spouses of veterans. They're not veterans themselves. They are going to have just kind of a monthly get together for veteran spouses to get together and have topics of interest. So it's a good curriculum if you're interested. I have one flyer here. I would have brought more, but I didn't know how interesting it would be to you. I did send an email to Belinda and some of the other folks here who I know are dual spouses like I am. But it's exceeded my expectations. So there it is. Yes,
I just
ma'am.
wanted to say how wonderful the open house was. It was really great, very impressive,
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, is there any other reports? Nikki, did you have anything that you want to tell us about that y'all are doing that we might not know about?
I wasn't prepared for that. I was coming with WVA hat on.
You can wear any hat you want.
I'll be prepared next time. Just the same, we are in the county. If you know a veteran or a spouse who is in need of anything, it doesn't have to be financial. It could be they need counseling resources. It could be they just need somebody to talk to and you can pick out what it is that, talk to them enough to figure out what they need. Refer them to us. We prefer that you refer through the portal because when people walk in, if you're with another veteran, we don't want to take away from our time with them to find out what they need because we value their time, but we value everybody's time. So if you need the link, it's on the United Way's page still until the county figures so we can get fully transitioned over.
I wanted to give a quick alibi on the assistance was rent. I misspoke earlier, so I know it was rent.
We had to look it up.
Sorry,
Cameron Creek.
Brain grant.
No. Sharon, did you have anything else?
No, I didn't.
Okay, let's do the retiring of the colors and call the meeting.
Arms. Order. Arm. Eddie.
And the meeting is adjourned. Next meeting will be March 11th. It's on your